everyone, and welcome back to the Just Make It Pretty podcast. Today, we are talking about social media strategy and what it takes to actually show up on social media. So, I know a lot of us, especially in home building, have heard this very surface level information about social media. It's, oh, you just got to post more, you just have to be consistent, and maybe throw up some videos here and there. And that's not all wrong, but that's not really the whole story. And that's not really how you're going to stand out on social media. So I'm bringing in a guest today that specializes in this and leading high impact social campaigns that help buyers understand the process and really build trust with these companies. So I'm super excited to have this conversation with her. If you are interested in social media at all for your company or your personal brand, this is going to be the episode for you. So stick around and let's get into it. Welcome to the Just Make It Pretty podcast, the marketing and mindset show for home builders and beyond. I'm your host, Sarah Haynes, and around here we go beyond pretty pictures and we get honest about what's working, what's not, and what it really takes to build better brands, better experiences, and better teams. You'll find creative ideas, practical strategies, and conversations that actually matter. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's get started. All right, everybody. Hey, we are here with Nicole Curtis, the CEO at the House of Influence, her brand new company. And Nicole, I'm just so excited to have you here with us to talk about social media today. This is going to be so much fun. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be so fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like we had our little call before and I was just like, oh my gosh, like these are all the things that I've wanted to say. And like, I just haven't had the space. So this is going to be really fun.
Yay. I can't wait. Let's do it.
Awesome. So if there's any of our listeners out there that don't know you, why don't you share a little bit about how you came to start House of Influence, your history in the home building industry?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'm Nicole Curtis, founder of House of Influence, and I've been working in corporate marketing for about 12 years, and most recently was a marketing director for a home builder for the last 6. And then in October, I was part of a mass layoff. So as I sat back and reevaluated what I wanted to do, I decided I wanted to stay in this amazing industry. And so now I serve as a fractional CMO and marketing strategist for home builders, for home builder adjacent brands and interior designers. And I love to I want them to stop marketing at people and start building trust through story, clarity, and connection. And so that's what's led me to start House of Influence.
That's amazing. I really like your mission. And I like what you said, stop marketing at people. I think that's going to really feed into what we're going to talk about today. So you've had your company for a few months now. What's been the biggest surprise that you found since you started your company?
That is a great question. Yes, so I launched in beginning of November, so it's still very new. The biggest thing that I've realized is selling yourself is so much different than selling a brand. My confidence has wobbled slightly, even though I know my competence is high, because decision making gets lonely. Now it's just me. Now I'm responsible for pricing and positioning and boundaries. Boundaries is a huge one. I've spent so many years helping sales teams sell themselves confidently, and suddenly I'm the product, and that's been very humbling.
It is weird when the script flips and you're like, oh, now I have to do this. And it's so much different when it's your own business.
So different.
And it's funny because I feel like people who aren't in marketing don't really understand this. But when I say it to people who have businesses or in marketing, building their personal brand, like they get it. It's marketing, like inside and out. You're great at it. You can give the best advice. But when it comes to yourself, it's so much different. Like you being the client of yourself is so much different. And it's really hard.
It feels really hard when, something that comes so naturally to us. We're both marketers, but all of a sudden marketing ourselves, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
I know. I know. It's like that when you're in like a new group and they're like, oh, introduce yourself and say something interesting about yourself or whatever. And you're like, suddenly I don't know who I am or what I'm
interesting
doing
about
at
me
all. Yeah, it's so true. I'm very excited for your business. You popped up on social media like really quick and it has been in my feed a lot. You're doing something right. But it is a journey starting a business. So I'm excited to follow along with you and all the listeners to follow her on social media because she's doing great things. And you share a lot of really great information as well.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be talking about social media, but really all marketing for home builders. And I feel like there's a lot of like kind of surface level information out there about social media specifically. And I'll mention this in my intro too, but it's the info that I hear is you just need to post more, or you just need to be consistent, or you know what you should do, post videos. And it's, oh wow, that's revolutionary. And it's so funny because I just feel like there's a lot of misinformation and like just misunderstanding about what social media can be for a home builder. So what's your take on that? What kind of strategies do you feel like home builders are missing, or like where are the disconnects there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing missing right now is intention. I often say I feel like builders post, just to be out there, but there really needs to be intention and strategy behind every piece of content that you are sharing. And I think a lot of gaps or what's missing are sharing a unique point of view, or sharing the story through the buyer's lens, or just an overall understanding of how and why the content exists. I think that's what's missing. And I don't
Absolutely.
think most builders aren't lacking the content necessarily, they're lacking the clarity.
Hmm. Yeah, you said something, you post with intention, and I feel like that in itself gets misconstrued because they're like, "Oh, my intent is to sell homes, so every post should be a little mini ad that we're going to post free on our Instagram." And that I just every time I see that, I just die a little bit inside. I'm like, "No, that's not what that
No.
means."
Yeah, I think marketing teams in home builder building are still thinking through like the print and billboard logic. They're treating social media as like a distribution channel and not a relationship builder. I think social media needs to be seen as a relationship building tool.
Yes, I agree with that. I like that. So how do they do that? So what would be some ways that they can build relationships with buyers on social media that maybe they haven't even met yet?
Yeah, I think buyers, they're not on social media to be sold to. They're there to decide. And I think some things that home builders can be doing is pull back the curtain, share what's happening behind the scenes. That helps you show up more relatable. Start explaining your processes and why you do what you do. And I think the biggest one too is normalize fears. Buying a home is scary. It's a huge investment. You're spending a ton of money. And don't just position it as this is easy, this is great, this is so fun and exciting. It is, but there are fears associated with home buying. And so you can normalize those fears through your content. You can say, I'm in this with you. It's scary. I get it. And here's how we can help you walk through those fears.
Yeah, so many people just avoid those things because they feel uncomfortable and they want to be like, no, home building is so easy. Buying a home is the easiest thing ever and just do it. And it's dismissive to those feelings, even though obviously that's not the intent behind it. You do subconsciously feel dismissed when you see that kind of rhetoric
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
when you're talking about pull back the curtain, what does that mean? Like, how would a home builder actually do that and show a little bit more personality?
I think showcasing your people is huge, and not just your salespeople. I think a lot of home builders focus on salespeople, which is important because that's who home buyers are going to be communicating with. But you can share stories from your warranty team. You can share stories from your construction team. Every person in the home building company plays a part in this buyer journey. And so humanizing that. I also love when CEOs and presidents share their perspectives and maybe share what's working and what's not working and how they're involved. I think that makes it a lot more human.
Yes. And I think that's how you build trust too.
Absolutely.
These companies, like home builders out there, like some of them are just so big. As a buyer, like you're like, oh, there's a million people a part of this company. Like they seem so big. And it's really hard to relate to that and like build trust when you're thinking about this giant corporation. So having a face and like people and showing that we're just people here too, it allows you to build trust. And a lot of this is so subconscious that like you're not going to immediately think, oh, because I saw that girl on Instagram, I now trust them. But it does, it all adds up.
I think that's also a huge competitive edge for smaller home builders because you think about the huge national builders who have these huge marketing budgets and huge marketing in-house teams. But a competitive edge for these smaller home builders is that they can showcase their team more. They have less guardrails that they need to follow, and they can take risks with their content. So when I worked for Hartford Homes, that was a competitive advantage that we leaned into is we're smaller. We want to showcase that we're more relatable and we're human and we live in these communities that you are looking into. So that was a big competitive advantage for us.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is made buyers feel more confident in
Yeah.
in you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. You were also telling me when we were chatting a little bit about this campaign that you did, the girl math campaign. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because it was genius.
I would love to. So, for those listening who maybe don't remember or aren't familiar, a couple years ago there was this trend called girl math. And I think it really started when this girl was trying to explain to her dad that when she returns something to Amazon or Target, that she's making money. When in reality, we all know that's not true. It was her money. But we decided to spin off that and play into this viral moment. And so we met buyers where they were, and we did girl math in relation to home builder incentives, so specifically interest rate incentives. So we got up on the dry erase board, we had an audience, and we said, right now, interest rates are in the sevens, but we can offer you this interest rate at 3.75. What do people think? They know that a smaller interest rate is beneficial to them, but what does that really mean? And so we mapped it out and made it funny where we said, if you lock in at a 3.75, that's going to save you about $500 a month on your mortgage payment. And what can you do with that? And we played into the girl math. We said, you could go buy a Taylor Swift Eras Tour ticket, or you can fund your coffee obsession. So we really just made it relatable and human, and it really paid off. We ended up doing, I think, 4 more videos after that. And we heard from buyers that were like, we're first time home buyers, and we didn't really know what that meant when people are throwing these numbers at us. But when you dumbed it down and explained it in a way that we could understand, it made a huge difference.
Yeah. I just so smart. Like kudos to you guys. That's so fun. And I mean,
So fun.
it checked a lot of boxes. I feel like so like one, you showed a lot of personality. You guys all got to have fun. I'm sure that those videos were it was very obvious that you guys were having a great time. So
Yeah.
that allowed them to come into that moment with you. And two, you related it to something that they already understand. And it's not that like we have to dumb things down because our
Yeah.
buyers aren't smart. You can only understand so much, and like relating things like using analogies, right? Like you're relating it to something that they already understand. So the girl math thing was, I'm still doing girl math, but like it was a very big thing at that time. So they instantly are like, oh no, I understand this. I get it now.
Yeah. At the end of the day, buyers want brands to get them and meet them where they're at. I think that campaign also proved that humor can coexist with high stake decisions. I think a lot of times builders and just brands overall are afraid to take risks and incorporate humor. And that can work. It really can. You can be professional and human.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really understand why that is because like I feel like the brands, even the really big brands, like we see Nike and like
Yeah.
anybody, like they do something funny, like they get all these viral moments and they get all this press about it. And it's like, why is it so scary to do that? It's really
Why is it so
interesting.
scary? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we feel like we need to be like just 100% like professional, polished, like every moment and perfect. And that's just not, I don't know about everyone listening, but like for me, I just really do not connect with that at all because
No.
I'm not perfect. This
And
is
you think
normal.
about too in an AI driven world, right? Where people are
Mhm.
using AI so much, people are sometimes moving away from that perfection. Don't think that every content piece you post needs to be perfect. Just make it relatable
Yes. Yeah, make it relatable and make it real.
and make it
Like
real.
if it's not perfect. I do a little bit of social media work with some of my clients, and one of the things that I know is like the biggest anxiety, like when you people are making videos, they're like, "Oh, I stumbled on that word," or "It was standing weird. I need to like fix this." And they just pick themselves apart. And I'm always like, "You know what? That's you. Like
That's
you
okay. That's
yeah.
human. And we don't
Yeah.
want you to feel like you're reading from a script because people can tell when you're reading from a script. Just hop on, be organic, and if you mess up a couple times, great. It shows that you're human. We all do it.
Yeah. The best part of every movie is the blooper reel. That's
Yes.
the most fun. So
Amen.
like make it fun. Yeah, I wish if I could just like pound something in everyone's head. It's that. It's like it doesn't have to be perfect. And even for me, like I know because I'm also this way. Like I will pick myself apart and I will look back
Yes.
at past videos and be like, why did I
Yep.
post that? What was I
Yeah,
thinking? And it's fine.
it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to shift a little bit because you said something really interesting about differentiation basically and how you can set yourself apart. So
Yeah.
I know every builder out there thinks that they're different and thinks that they are special, and they are. They have something, right? But at the same time, the marketing and the sales, they're like, we want to be like everybody else. So I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Have you noticed that, and why do you think that exists?
Yeah, I think the root issue is fear. And we talked about this a little bit earlier. I think everyone's afraid to say the wrong thing. They're afraid they're not going to say something meaningful. But safe content is often forgettable content.
Mhm.
And so I think to differentiate yourself, don't always focus on the finishes of your home first or what sets your homes apart. Focus on buyers notice your tone, they notice your transparency, they notice about how problems are talked about and whether you're feeling confident or defensive in your content. And so I think you need to shift from look at this house to here's what it's like to work with us. Here's how it feels to work with us. Here's the experience you're going to get when you come work with us. You're differentiating your experience rather than your homes because the homes will differentiate themselves through the imagery or when you walk the floor plans. And I think the biggest opportunities right now for marketers in home building are educating over promoting. Educate before you promote. I think we've talked about this so many times. So many marketers in home building are pushing their incentives or pushing their interest rates or that kind of thing. But focus on educating first because they'll see you as a resource when they have questions or when they're wondering about something. And then involve your sales teams. I think show real people, talk about how decisions get made, and showcase the people who your buyers are going to be talking to. But then that also leads me to another thing. You should incorporate your people, but I think marketers need to set the guardrails for that and give them guidance rather than just saying, hey, salespeople, go shoot a video in one of your spec homes today. That's going to lose your core brand. Give them guidance, give them talking points, tell them where to stand, what to focus on. So I think that's like a two-part piece right there.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is. And I think that like little bit of guidance, it helps anybody like just remove some of that anxiety because like us here in marketing, like we're strategizing and thinking about this and looking at trends and we're doing this all the time. So for us,
Mhm.
it's, oh, we'll just do all the things that we've seen and we have the ideas, but those salespeople may not be doing that. And that they don't have the same thought process and the same strategy. So we do have to communicate and share. So that's a great tip. I know
Yeah,
I've worked with teams where they're like, that's just like such a light bulb moment. They're like, oh my gosh, we just have to tell them. It's like, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Just give them some guardrails.
Yeah. So really what I heard you say before was like basically your best differentiation for social media is your people.
Yeah,
And I think that's a really important. I want to underline that because all of these home builders out there, you have the same granite countertops, you have the same flooring, you have the same fixtures. So whatever you're trying to set yourself apart, there are other builders using those same things, but what they don't have is your people, and that's so important, I
yep.
think, for builders to really latch onto.
And when I worked for my home builder, I heard so many sweet stories from my sales team talking about how they really got to hear these buyer stories and they would pick out little pieces and make them moments so customized and personal. I had stories of one of my sales girls showed up for dinner one night because she knew that they were navigating something really hard. It's the people that make the experience. It really is.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and I know so many builders, they have a really great customer experience and they really do care about their buyers, but they do not talk about it.
No, they don't
Um,
showcase it.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's a big missed opportunity for a lot of builders. And I love like taking in buyer stories as well. It can be difficult to get people to want to participate in a video.
Yes.
However, or even sometimes pictures can even be hard, but taking what we hear, and I think we have to just make it part of the company culture of listen to these stories, think about that
Yeah,
as content ideas almost.
right.
Really, this is our focus.
Yeah, exactly. People want to hear those real stories.
Yeah. So how can you, as you're trying to educate your buyers, like how can you help buyers understand the process and not just the product? Like what are some ways on social media that you've seen that work?
Yeah, when you think through content, I think, yeah, we automatically think, let's post pictures of our homes, let's post pictures of our models, let's showcase the design center. But I always love encouraging builders to create carousel posts that explain something, right? And that they're going to save, that buyers are going to save and go back to. You can talk about anything from first-time home buyers, what it looks like to save for a down payment, or what the process looks like if you're building a dirt start home. There's the content opportunities are endless, but I think oftentimes marketers, we get so caught up because we live and breathe home building. We forget that these buyers might not know what we're talking about at all. They don't understand the experience. They don't understand what goes into it. So explain it.
Yeah, I love that. So if you were to pick something and you're like, there's one thing that you could just fix about like social media strategy and home building, what would that be? Or maybe you've already said it. What do you think it would be?
Oh, I think the main thing I would say is stop chasing content and start building trust. Build
That's
trust
so
with your
good.
content. Yeah.
That's so good. So what does that mean? Expand that a little bit.
So rather than, this is going to tie back to what we said at the beginning, rather than just
Yeah.
posting a post, oh, today I'm going to post a model home photo, oh, I'm going to post this video about our spec, start educating, start showing your people, start creating content that buyers are going to relate to and come back to when they're questioning what kind of decisions they need to make. Build that trust. And every time you post something on social media, think about that. Is this building trust with my buyers? Use that
Yeah,
in the back of your mind.
absolutely. I love that. Okay. All right. So I'm adding in a little game and it's the
Oh,
rapid fire game. I did this when I first started the podcast and then for some reason I stopped doing it.
fun.
So
I love it.
so I'm going to do it with you. So I'm going to give really short questions, true or false, or questions. So I want you to answer short, one word answers, no overthinking, just the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay? Sound
Okay,
good?
got
All
it.
right. Truth or myth? Builders need to be on every platform to be successful on social media.
Oh, myth. Myth.
For sure. I totally agree. Do buyers trust social media more than ads?
Yes. Yes. Ads you're being sold to. Social media is where you can build that trust, to share that education, behind the scenes, all that. Yep.
Yeah, you're starting a relationship on social rather than ads. You're starting a transaction. That's how I always
Yep.
think about it.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, fact or fiction? Videos perform better than static image posts.
I would say fact, usually.
Usually. Okay.
Yeah.
True or false? If it doesn't convert immediately, it's not working.
False. False. I've worked on some social media campaigns with some brands, and right away it might not take off, but a few weeks later you'll start seeing it gain traction. So I
Mhm.
would say false.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's tough because like sometimes those things do take a minute and it's really hard because like when you're thinking about like ads, right? Like you're like, oh, we got clicks right away. That's not how social media works. And sometimes you got to build up.
Yep.
I agree. Okay, is it true that consistency matters more than creativity?
Yes. I think consistency matters a lot. Now, I'm not going to say that you should be posting every day.
Mhm.
No, you even twice a week is consistent, because if you post one time and then your following doesn't hear from you for several months, you're going to lose traction. So I consistency matters. Yes.
Okay. Is it possible to outsource that strategy without losing your brand voice?
Yes.
Absolutely. That's why
Absolutely.
we have jobs, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, true or false? Sales teams should be involved in your content creation.
Yes, absolutely. We talked about this earlier, but with guardrails.
Yes.
Include your team, but give them guardrails and guidance.
And then the last one, how do you build the confidence before you start posting?
You don't. You post anyway. You start posting and you build it. Because I think oftentimes people get so caught up and worried, especially if they're just starting social media for the first time, they overthink it and then they end up not posting at all. So just start posting. and watch your analytics and you'll learn. It's all about testing. I have a client that I've been working with for a while and right away there was no traction, but slowly over time we refined our strategy, we refined our content, and now it's performing incredibly well. So it takes time. You just have to start.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's really hard to feel ready. And like we talk about this with everything, like leadership and your career, like you're never going to feel ready. So if you're waiting for that, like you're never going to start.
You're never going
So
to start.
yeah, social media is the same exact way. All right. I've loved this conversation. Like I said, like these are things that I'm just like constantly like I feel like I'm shouting into the voids. This has been so much fun. And I really think that a lot of people, just businesses in general, they really need to view social media like a strategic business tool and
Right,
not, it's no longer an optional thing. Every
right.
business needs social media and it needs to be a part of your overall strategy. And so I'm excited about that because I feel like it just gives us so many new opportunities to show our buyers who we are that you just cannot do like on your website and
No,
everywhere else that we're
no,
marketing.
exactly. This was so fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So if you last word, anything else that you feel like you missed or wanted to say before we go, what's your last word to builders on their social media?
Yes, I love it. I would say the builders who win aren't louder, they're clearer. They show buyers that they understand and they understand that it's a decision-making process and it's not just about the product. So I would say the builders who win aren't louder, they're clearer.
Mic drop. So good. I love that when there's like little bits, right? Everyone can remember that just one sentence. So amazing. Okay, Nicole, if people want to find you after this episode, they want help with their social media or want any of the services that you offer, where can they find you and what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yes, they can find me on LinkedIn, or I have an Instagram page for House of Influence, or you can email me at houseofinfluenceco@gmail.com.
Awesome. Okay, everyone go check her out because, like I said, her social media is full of really good tips. You can learn so much just by following her. So definitely do that. And when you're done doing that, come back here and follow me as well and follow the podcast because I'm going to be posting lots of clips of this episode over on my Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn. And wherever you're listening to this, please and follow the podcast as well. It really helps us out. And any feedback that you have, I got a couple comments on a previous episode and it was so awesome because there were additional questions that like I didn't even think of when I was filming the episode and we got to have a really cool conversation. So if you guys have additional questions, me and Nicole will be in the comments. So please ask those. I think this conversation shouldn't just be one-sided and I love that we're starting to get that interaction. So that was really exciting for me. Anything else? I feel like we've covered everything. I would thank you again so much for being here, Nicole, and I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did.
It was so fun. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everybody, come back next week for our next episode and we'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.